Well, good morning. I couldn't sleep, so I figured I'd jump up and get stuck into some more wiring today. How you going, guys? Ash here, Team Outlaws. Today, getting very close with the wiring on the truck. I'm just going to finish off a few little things and then hopefully power up today and start programming. So just having a look at the we've got the IQ3 Logger dash from Racepak, and just having a look at the wiring loom that comes with that, and there's a few wires in here that we're not going to need. Obviously this dash is designed to run as a standalone or on the VNet system, and we're not going to be running it standalone, it's going to be on the VNet. So for that reason it's actually going to get its power through the VNet cable. It'll get the power off the PDM, the Racepak Smartwire, through that VNet cable. So because of that, we don't need, so when you get your dash, and it's pretty important to get the exact model because they actually all have different plugs on the back depending on what one you've got. Say if you had the drag dash, the drag dash actually has about a 20 pin socket on the back. So yeah, get the right instructions for what you've got, and you'll see under we've got pin 2 is our IQ3 power, and pin 7 is the IQ3 ground. We're not using pins 5 and 6. Pin 8 goes to the external, that's for an external warning light, whether it be for a external tack or like a shift light, or just a warning light, you know. So you can actually program it. So say if you get high water temp, instead of just having the light come on the dash itself, you can have the light come on the dash and also output an external, maybe a bigger light. I am actually going to wire that up. I'm going to use I just got one of these nice big LEDs, dash mount LED. There's one that I've already got open. Yeah, so I've just got a panel mount LED here. Nice and simple. Looks like a 25. It's probably 22 mil. Just over 21 mil. There you go. So 22 mil hole. Bash a hole through your dash or wherever you want to put your light. Quite easy. It's got a jam nut on the back there. And you just wire that up. And I'd suggest, you know, putting that in some heat shrink. They're actually quite good, these little lights. Nothing special, just a little Chinese eBay special, you know. Couple of bucks each, but I've tested them, they're all working good, they'll do the job. I don't know whether I'm going to use it as an external tack. I'm probably just going to use it as a shift light. I think I'm just going to use it as a more prominent warning light. Obviously we don't want warning lights on, so if one comes on we want to make sure that we see it, and the lights on the actual IQ3 dash, they're not that big. So you're looking at the dash here, and from memory I think these are your warning lights. There's 4 of them. they're all individually programmed. You can program them to do different things, but basically it's a tiny little light, and depending on where your steering wheel sits, you might miss that light in the heat of the moment. So I'm really liking the idea of an external light, and just as a bit of backup. And not only that, you can what I'm probably going to do also is I'll be putting two lights in, one on my side and one over on the navigator's side. So if the light goes on and I miss it, well, the navigator better not fucking miss it, because that's his job, isn't it? So yeah. So with the warning lights though, the external light, how it works is the dash is actually switching the ground. So you will still need to supply your own power for that. You can't steal it from the I don't suggest stealing it from the dash, which if you've got this dash, you might be able to steal it off the IQ3 power pin, but I wouldn't recommend it. It's not designed for it. It's basically, yeah, because this particular dash is designed to get power off the VNet. For those that don't know what the VNet is, so the VNet plugs into this plug, this round plug here, right, and all your other, it's actually a standard Deutsch plug that plugs into here, and off these pins, this is where we have our external output, and also the wiring for our push buttons. Now, when you buy one of these dashes, it doesn't come with this mounting plate. I can't actually remember where I got this from. It's one of the speed shops. Pretty easy to make up yourself, but I like this one because when you're looking at it from the front, it's really low profile. These two bolts down here, these are them, for me, these are going to be the mounting bolts. And then the other, yeah, we've got these little push button, momentary push button, normally open. We've got a black one and a red one, just like the Racepak ones. Now, they didn't come, Racepak don't supply you with that. That's an additional harness you've got to buy. I didn't buy it off them. I figured it was a bit of a waste of money. I can't remember how much money it was, but I just went to the electronics store and bought these myself, matched up the size. So that will go in there, and these actually are designed to mount on the bottom of this. I was looking at my steering wheel, and the wheel I've got, because I think it would be good to have these buttons on your steering wheel in reach of your thumbs, but my wheel, I went for this really lightweight, I think they're a Speedway wheel, but I'm not going to mount buttons on this one. I'm not happy with, I don't want to start drilling into this, because for the size of the hole I needed to drill, I'll lose too much strength. So I think maybe if you've got a wheel where this is solid, then it'd be pretty easy to drill a hole through here and actually mount your buttons in there. And you know, somewhere like J-Car or RS Components, Element 14, one of those electronic stores, they'll be able to sell you that that coil, the slinky coil cable that you can use to go around the steering column, and you'd be able to mount a set of buttons. But you know, it's pretty easy to wire them in later on if I do change steering wheels, so that's probably what I'm going to do. I'm not going to muck with this one, but yeah, for you that don't have a wheel like this, I personally think it would be better to have them on the wheel, or you can have them on the bracket and on the wheel. You can have two sets of buttons. You can have as many sets as you want. You just wire them up in parallel. They're a normally open switch, Right, hopefully you all know what that means. Oh, there we go. So I don't know if you can see that. Basically, normally open, pretty basic for you, means it's a push button switch too, so it's not like a push and it stays on. If you let go of it, it turns back off, okay? So normally open means we're looking at a circuit similar to this one here, where you've got your positive power, it comes through the circuit to a push button switch. It's normally open, which means that power doesn't normally go through it. When you push it, it closes the circuit. It would come down through here, closed, and go to ground. And usually you'd have in here your load or your light or whatever you're putting in there. And in our case, in this area here, this is the internal wiring that's going back to our dash. Okay, so, and obviously the instant you let go of this button, it springs back to open, so it stops that power going through. A normally closed switch would be one where it's actually, when you're not touching it, or in, they call it the de-energized state, it's a bit hard to draw like this. Normally closed would be kind of, would be like this, you know, positive on this side, power coming through. It's actually going to run through until you tell it to open, right? Most of the time we're going to have a normally open switch. But the same principle applies to relays and contactors. So when you're looking at relays or contactors, if you ever see them and they normally have an NC or an NO, normally open, normally closed, that's what it's about. Because sometimes, sometimes depending on the situation, you might need something to have power on it, and then you push a button to take power off it. So, and in that case, it's going to be a normally closed. But most of the time it's normally open, where you're switching something to close something. Okay, so yeah, that is that. Anyway, I'm running my dash off the VNet, and today, because I'm doing that, I don't need the IQ3 power or the IQ3 ground, so we're going to rip that out of the Deutsch plug. Finish my coffee before it goes too cold. If you're doing a lot of wiring, I'll tell you what, a little eBay special toolkit like this is worth its weight in gold, and it won't be worth very much at all, because I think this cost about $2 or $3. So just find something that's a bit flat. You could do this with a screwdriver. Now in my case, I want to remove, because I don't see the point in having it in there, I want to remove pins 2 and 7 on a Deutsch plug. On the back side of the Deutsch plug, if you look really closely, I'm not going to bother trying to show it on the camera because you won't see it, but each pin is actually numbered, so you can look on the back and you can see that this is pin 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it jumps over 5, 6, 7, 8 down the bottom here at orange. Alright, so we're going to pull out 2 and 7, so this red one here, and 7 is this black one here. Now you can't just pull these out, they won't just pull out, because Deutsch have a locking mechanism, just like just about every other plug does. And part of that locking mechanism is this bit here. So you just, there's a little tap, like a little indented tag on the side here. You want to get a screwdriver or something nice and thin and just give it a slight turn, and that will pull out, and that's the locking mechanism. Alright. And then when you look down the barrel here, you'll be able to see all the female pins, and you'll see a bit further in, I don't know whether you'll be able to pick it up on the camera, but there's a little clip, and you'll just need a small screwdriver or your little eBay special tool to pry that clip back just a little bit while you apply pressure to the cable you want to pull out. Now I want to pull out this one here, pin 2, and put that in there. And just like that, pin 2 is out. And we want to do pin 7, which is this one here. Geez, how simple. Alright, now we're done. We're going to put that back in there like that. Push it down till it clips in place. And we're done. We've got rid of those excess wires. Now, just going back to the external wiring, the external warning light, sorry. So the external warning light is a it's a switch ground, which means that your cable is going to go so in our instance button 1 is blue, right? So blue is going to run to one side of the switch, okay, and the other side of the switch is going to run to the chassis ground. You can also run it to pin 4, and I'm going to do that. So pin 4 is, it's the button ground, which is black, so that's this one here. Now, orange is our external light, and again, orange is a switch ground. That's obviously done by an internal contact inside the IQ3 dash. So we will need to run the orange cable out to wherever we're going to have our light. And then from our light, a little LED light that I had out here, on the other side of that light, that has to go to ground, okay? And I'm actually going to put a small Deutsch plug, because basically, what is the yellow cable? That's a good question. Wonder what yellow is. Good old Racepak. Racepak lists the yellow, and this is the instructions that comes with it, as yellow is pin 6, and on here it says pin 6 do not use, do not use. So good on you, Racepak, you give me the wrong bloody instructions. Oh well, I'm pretty sure I don't need it anyway. Trying to think what it could be. I'll look that up a bit better, because I was kind of hoping there'd be more than one external light output, but it seems like there's only one, which is a bit average, but it'll do. If I had two, I'd run one for the shift light and one for the warning, and that's what I planned on doing, but maybe that yellow one is a second external. I'll have to do a bit more research. Check out the Googles. Anyway guys, bit of a short one today. Hopefully that helped someone. Pretty basic stuff. Bit of Deutsch wiring around the IQ3, in my case the Logger dash. Yeah. If you haven't, check out the trophy truck build. Quite a few episodes there now. Lots of viewing footage for you. And yeah, stay tuned. Give us a subscribe if you haven't done that already. That'd be really great. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Cheers.